Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how to create your own reality for real, a masterclass. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back. Powerful session today. I want to talk about a client session yesterday, but this was not any ordinary session. This was a, quote, dream session. Why? Because the night before, I had this dream that I was in a session with a client. And the weird thing about this dream is I couldn't see the client. That was the whole strange thing of the dream. It was like a shadow in the Zoom. And I even said that many times, I guess, during this session in the dream, right? That, hey, I can't really see you. And this client wanted to talk about, how do I create my own reality? Really? How do I create it? What does that even mean? Where do I even start? All of that, right? He wanted a masterclass in reality creation in this dream, right? And we talked about certain ideas about him saying, you know, I just want my life to be different. And me saying to him, which I said in the dream, but I say it in a 3D experience of reality as well, quite a bit, right? In the waking dream, that you don't manifest, receive, and perceive and create what you want. You perceive, you receive, you manifest, you create who and what you're conscious of being. And that determines how you're perceiving or experiencing reality. Right? This whole idea that so instead of wanting things to be different, instead have your wanting should be about wanting to see things the way you want to see them. Do you see it? That's where the power, wanting can be powerful, but wanting things to be different and then not moving there within weakens that power. Wanting is powerful, desiring is powerful, but only powerful when you perceive and want and desire it and see reality the way you desire it, to see reality the way you want it to be in every moment. So this came up. So yesterday I had a session. This client starts off by saying, and I'm going to get tingles here when I talk about this, that Tom, I had a dream that we had our session. And he mentions this. He mentions in the dream, you said you give it all meaning. You give reality all the meaning it has. Blew me away because that's what the dream session was about. And this is what this video is going to be about today. So powerful, the synchronicities and the discussion that we had and what he dreamed about and what I dreamed about. There were a lot of common things, almost word for word in some things. Really powerful. And I could see him actually in the waking dream session that I had yesterday. So that was really interesting. So, and then one of you even commented today, another synchronicity on a video that talks about this very idea that we're going to talk about today. That your perceiving and experiencing itself is reality. It's all of it. There's no reality outside of your perceiving in your experiencing of it. So to create your ideal reality, to create what you want, you've got to perceive it and see it and experience it the way you want to see it, the way you want it to be. There's nothing else, there's no other way. You've got to know that the reality that you want is already there and see it as that. See all conditions. See all inner conditions of thoughts and feelings and all outer people, events, and circumstances. See them. Give them the meaning that you want them to have. Identify with them as in a way that you're creating the reality. Give no power to anything but your I amness, but your absolute authority to see and perceive reality as the way you want it to be, no matter what you're thinking or feeling, and no matter what you're seeing and perceiving in the appearances out there, right? So perceptions and experiences cannot exist outside of your perceiving and experiencing of them. There are no perceptions or experiences other than the experiencing and the perceiving itself. That's your entire reality. Ultimate reality is changeless. It's pure perfection. It's pure love. It's pure awareness. So for you to experience that pure awareness, that pure love, that absolute perfection, you have to experience it differently, some way and different than it actually is. There's only the reality, the truth of ultimate reality. Everything else is the experiencing and perceiving of it, right? And you give it all meaning this experiencing and perceiving has. You give all the meaning. This is really cool because this is what he dreamed about, what I dreamed of. You give it all the meaning this experiencing and perceiving has. All of it. Reality has no built-in inherent meaning. It's the changeless absolute perfection of who you are. You give it all meaning by your experiencing and perceiving of it. As you're looking at reality, you're looking as reality, and you're giving it all the meaning. There's no meaning out there in the people, events, and circumstances. There's no built-in meaning. You give it meaning. You create it. There's no meaning to those thoughts and feelings, those changing thoughts and feelings. You give them meaning. Right? So just as the ideas of pain and pleasure cannot exist outside the experiencing of pain and pleasure, it's the same idea. Pain and pleasure don't exist other than the experiencing of it. That's all reality. You give it all the meaning it has. Just like anything else. I think in that video that subscriber commented on that I actually posted on the community board, I was talking about the idea of an apple. An apple, a red round apple, that whole idea does not exist outside of your experiencing of it. Just as pleasure and tongue twister, pleasure and pain don't exist outside your experiencing of it. It's all of it, right? Wow, that's powerful. So let's hit this like we never have before. How do you create your own reality? Well, your experience of reality, of being that pure awareness or consciousness that you are, being that absolute perfection, that isness of reality, that absolute divinity or unity that you are, you do it by perceiving it differently. Perceiving it different than it actually is. It's pure awareness. It's pure consciousness. But as you experience it and as you perceive it, you are perceiving it and experiencing it differently than it is. And that creates your entire life experience. It creates your entire experience of reality. Your perceiving is the entire experiencing of reality. Or your experiencing and perceiving is your entire experience of reality. It's the experiencing itself. It's the perceiving itself. When you perceive it differently, reality is different. It's law. In other words, so what is your perceiving and experience? It's defined by who you are, who you believe you are, your self-concept, who you are in your relationship to the world determines how you're going to perceive and experience reality, no matter what the appearances are in the people, events, and circumstances out there, or your inner thoughts and feelings, because you give those reality, you give those meaning by who you believe you are, by that I am. Your I am. I am, that state of being is your absolute truth of reality, and you determine it. No matter what your eyes are seeing or no matter what your ears are hearing, you give it all meaning, all of it. Very powerful today. No matter what your thoughts, what thoughts you are thinking and feeling. In other words, no matter what the changing conditions appear to be. So what you're thought, thinking, and feeling, or what you're seeing in people, events, and conditions, all of it, you give it meaning, right? Beyond these changing conditions, beyond this world, there is a world I want. I choose to see that world instead of this. For here is nothing that I really want. This is from A Course in Miracles. It's saying beyond the world of people, events, and circumstances, these conditions you're seeing out there, and your thoughts and feelings about them, there's the true reality. There's the truth of who you are. The outer conditions of people, events, and circumstances, and the inner conditions of thoughts and feelings have no inherent or built-in meaning. There's no meaning to any of it. So for you to react to it, for you to push against it, for you to want it to be different than it is, makes no sense because you get to determine what that difference is, right? Nothing means anything apart from the meaning you give it, period. There's just the truth of I amness. There's just the world that A Course in Miracles is referring to. Beyond this world, there's a world I want. Right? The truth of who you are, the real world. I choose to see that world instead of this. For here is nothing that I really want. It's nothing you really want in those people, events, and circumstances, thoughts and people, events, and circumstances, or those thoughts and feelings. The real world is within. And you get to determine what that is. You give it all meaning. That's very powerful today. Everything you want to be or have is already yours here and now. That's the truth of reality. So when you're perceiving it, look out at reality the way you want things to be. See it as the way you want it to be because it's already there, here and now. And as you're looking at reality, you're looking as reality, and those conditions must change. And then whatever thoughts and feelings, you get to determine what those mean to you. You don't have to identify with any of them. You get to determine what those mean and what reality is. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. A Course in Miracles. Stop giving your power and authority to create your own reality away to what is not real. The people, events, and circumstances are an experience of reality. They're the experiencing or perceiving, but they're not reality. Your changing thoughts and feelings are experiencing and perceiving of reality, but they're not reality. They're all taking place within the awareness of that changeless reality, within the consciousness of that changing reality, right? So to change your mind means to place it at the disposal of your true authority, A Course in Miracles. And what is that true authority? I am. That's your true authority. Your true nature is I am. It's your beingness. It's who you really are. That unchanged reality, that unchanged awareness, that unchanged consciousness, you get to determine it all. So your true inner authority of I am, it's that awareness. It's that perfect seeing. It's that limitless reality. The mind, this is what A Course in Miracles says, the mind can elect what it chooses to serve. The only limit put on its choice is that it cannot serve two masters. So you're either creating reality from that limitless, changeless nature of who you are. And so as you look out at reality, you're looking at it the way you desire it to be, knowing who you really are. Or you're looking at it that these events, people, events, and circumstances are there and you're reacting to them. Or you're reacting to your thoughts and feelings about them. You can't serve two masters. You got to decide. Right? That's the only limit. You're always creating, manifesting, perceiving, and shifting realities. You don't have to learn how to create your own reality. You're always creating, manifesting, receiving, and perceiving, and shifting realities, or creating your own reality. Right? You need only to choose who, and that who is you. That's the quote from that Disney series, Loki. Right? That who is you. That's the choice. That's what it's saying here. The mind can elect what it chooses to serve. Who are you going to serve? Who you really are? Or the assumptions that you believe as defined by the people, events, and circumstances, or your changing thoughts and feelings. None of those are reality. Those are changes, changing conditions within reality, within that awareness. Right? So reacting means creating along unconscious lines. You're just creating along unconscious lines. You're allowing it to choose for you, the people, events, and circumstances. And you're allowing the changing people, events, and circumstances and the changing thoughts and feelings to choose for you. To choose your experience, hear this, your experience and perception of reality. Or are you going to choose your I am, who you really are, source, and choose to see it the way you want to see it? When you look out, you're looking out as reality, as you would like it to be, no matter what it appears to be, or no matter what those changing thoughts and feelings are telling you, right? That's powerful. So you don't create, manifest, and perceive what you want, but rather who and what you are conscious of being, yourself or self-concept, or I am that. So remember, there's nothing wrong with wanting and desiring. Those are powerful. But wanting things to be different and desiring things to be different creates that reality of wanting, desiring things to be different, but they never are. So wanting's powerful. It's a great power. Your wanting or your desiring is a great power, but not in your wanting or desiring things or what is to be different. So where's the power then in the wanting and desiring? Your power in the wanting and the desiring is to know that the things already are different. That they're already the way you want them to be. That you are all realities. So when you want something and desire it, it's already there. You're already that. That you already are and already have everything you want. That's the power, the awesome power of wanting. It's recognizing and being aware of that. That's the awesome power of desiring and wanting. It's a great power. But how are you using it? How are you seeing it? That's really powerful today. These are some of the things that came up in our session here yesterday in the 3D experience of reality, right? It's all yours in your wanting and desiring of it. It's all yours. When you look upon all conditions, both inner conditions of changing thoughts and feelings and outer conditions of people, events, and circumstances, the way you want them to be. That's why Jesus said, I am the way. See them the way you want them to be versus the way they appear to be. You bend reality and create miracles. That's what we've always talked about, but it's somehow hitting me in a differently today. It hits different today. It must have been the dream and then this follow-on session that this client dreamed about it and that I dreamed about it. There was something message in here we needed to get out. It's all yours in the wanting, desired of it. So this is what A Course in Miracles says. Here is the world you do not want, brought to the one that you do. And here the one you do is given because you want it. So A Course in Miracles saying you bring those conditions, those changing conditions of inner thoughts and feelings, or outer conditions of people, events, and circumstances, you bring them to the light of what you really want and they change. You perceive them the way you really want to perceive them and they change. Do you see it? You create them the way you want to create them. Here is the world you do not want, brought to the one that you do. And here the one you do is given because you want it. So there's nothing wrong with wanting it. It's bringing those conditions that you believe that you don't want to the light of what you do want. Declare what you want. See reality the way you want to see it, and it must be. You're looking upon or at reality as reality. I am that because I want that. I am that because I assume that. I am that because I desire that. I am that because I imagine that. I am that. It's okay to want when you move to knowing that it's yours. That's the power today. Yet for this is what A Course in Miracles says, yet for this, the power of your wanting must first be recognized. You must accept its strength and not its weakness. You must perceive that what is strong enough to make a world can let it go. A Course in Miracles, talking about wanting here. The power of wanting must first be recognized. Recognize the power as opposed to it as a weakness, that you're desiring as a power as opposed to a weakness, right? You must accept its strength and not its weakness. You must perceive that what is strong enough to make a world can let it go. What's strong enough to create worlds can also let go of worlds that you don't desire. Remember, you're constantly, infinitely changing realities or shifting realities or creating worlds or experiencing different worlds. You get to decide, right? So that's powerful. So that wanting, right? That wanting and wanting something, so it's not about wanting things to be different, it's knowing that they already are and you can let go of anything that's not your desired experience right now. And hold on to or create, manifest, perceive what you want. Jesus, I am, remember it said to the blind beggar Bartimaeus, what do you want me to do for you? Remember that the blind beggar Bartimaeus represents our incomplete perception of reality. We're seeing it wrong. We're remembering it wrong, right? We're wanting things to be different, but we're not seeing the different reality. Wanting things to be different, but not seeing and perceiving that they already are. That's what the I am is saying that to the blind beggar. That represents us seeing reality not the way we want to see it, not having that true perception. What do you want me to do for you? In other words, your wanting's okay. What do you want? Because that I am is asking you, who are you? Right? Unwanted conditions is about seeing, perceiving, and remembering it wrong when you see unwanted conditions. Because those conditions can be brought to the light of what you really want, and they must change. You can see, perceive, and remember them righteously. It's the recognition that nothing you see means anything alone. A Course in Miracles. Great summary to this lesson today. It's the recognition that nothing you see means anything alone, without you, without that I am. You give it all meaning, whether it's what you're seeing within or what you're seeing in the outside world. You give it all meaning. There's just ultimate reality. There's just the pure awareness and unconditioned consciousness. That's how to create your own reality for real. That is a masterclass. Understanding that as you look, you're looking as reality. That reality is changing as you perceive it, as you experience it, because you're experiencing and perceiving is the entire experience of reality. Do you see it? That's the real masterclass there. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. For following us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, for following us on TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, for joining our membership channel. There's a link below if you want to join. Some of you are saying the links aren't working. I tested it. It's working. If you want to join the membership channel, feel free. There is a link below. We released some content a few days ago on the membership channel, a new video. And we also have another live stream, our 8th live stream, to be broadcast later this month, the last Sunday of this month, on the membership channel. So keep sending your questions to info@besomethingwonderful.com. The last Sunday of this month, we're going to come to you live in November here, right after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to be answering your questions right here from the studios, exclusively on the membership channel. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, creators, until next time, coming to you from the studios of Be Something Wonderful here in Las Vegas, we'll see you soon.